Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life. And today we're going to talk about why people even want to use cryptocurrency. You know, what's the big deal? Now, here's the big deal about it. I've had some good experiences with it, and I've had some bad experiences with it, and I'm going to share those with you. And I believe that while this does not have anything to do, well, it does have a little bit to do with this, about how the numbers go up and down on the buying and selling of cryptocurrency, it does not affect like a basic plan of I buy here, I sell higher, and I just rinse and repeat, you know, to make money. So what it does have to do with, though, is what influences the market. Why do people want to use cryptocurrency in their daily lives? And how easy or how hard is it? So let's talk about that. So first, let me tell you about an experience that was not so positive. So I was out with Jordan, my buddy Jordan. We're working on the YouTube Success project, and we were at an internet cafe. So I walk up to, I'm going to buy the drinks this time. You know, we kind of go round and round. I'm going to buy the drinks this time. And I walk up to the counter and it says, a little sign there says, we accept Bitcoin. And so I'm like, cool. All right, let's do it. And so I asked him about it and he says, oh, we've never accepted Bitcoin before. Nobody's ever asked us. I'm like, okay, let's rock this. Let's figure this out. I want to learn. Which is, by the way, something you should really be working on with the cryptocurrency stuff. If you're going to do this challenge, you need to learn as much stuff as you can about it. And because it'll benefit you in the end on the decisions that you make. And you're going to hear a little bit more about that as to why that matters. So anyway, the two drinks come out to $7.50. No problem. Okay, so I take my phone out, and then I bring up my Coinbase application, and my Coinbase application then is I'm able to scan their barcode, right, the QR code, and it says on their thing that, you know, it's going to be $7.50. And so I go and scan it to send the money. And so I scan it, and it comes up with two numbers. It comes up with one number in Bitcoin for how much I'm going to send them for the purchase, and it comes up with a second number in Bitcoin for how much I'm going to spend in network fees. Okay, so I don't recall seeing any numbers on it that indicated how much this was worth in US dollars. And so I eyeball it and I say, okay, I've been doing this trading and everything, and it looks like about the right amount. But, you know, it's really hard to tell when you're looking at an amount that is, it's like 0.0001337, you know, whatever. And so you're looking at that and you're going, okay, well, I think it's about right. So I go ahead and hit okay. Now, what happens next is they get it on their end. They say everything's good. They hand me the drinks. And my phone says I spent $10.50. What? Yes. Okay, so now I'm like a little confused about that. I'm like, oh shit, that was a huge network fee. And so I go back to the table I was sitting at. I got my laptop there because the phone version doesn't show as much detailed information. So I go to Coinbase on my laptop and I take a look, and it shows me that I actually sent them over $8.50 worth of Bitcoin, and that I was charged a network fee that was $1 and something, a little less than $2, I think. Anyway, it all equaled $10.50 for this $7.50 drinks. So the network fees were expensive. The network fees came out to be like 20% or something like that, and I'm like, holy cow, you know, that is not good. And I haven't dug into this far enough yet. I don't actually know whether or not that it was charging a percentage, or it had like $1 worth and then a percentage or something like that. I don't really know. So, and it says that it sent them $8.50 worth of Bitcoin. So I'm looking at this and I just don't know what to think. And so I showed it to them, and They weren't sure either. They had never accepted Bitcoin before, and theirs wasn't going through an exchange. It was just went straight into a wallet for them, and they had never accepted Bitcoin before, so they don't really know. So it is just this issue of, how do I know how much I'm going to spend? How do I figure that out? Isn't that important? So if this is an issue for general people, sorry, I'm going to suck on a cough drop. If this is an issue for general people, like if it's this difficult for me who's technical to figure out whether or not how much I'm going to spend, why would anybody in their right mind use this stuff as a currency daily? I don't think anybody would. And in fact, it goes back to another thing that Lisa and I were talking about, that we're trying to prepare for the forks, because there's 2 Bitcoin forks coming up, one October 25th and one mid-November. And forks, we'll get into that later. Forks kind of double your money, in a sense. The markets do some crazy things. And I've never actually been through one before, so this is going to be my first time, and I'm trying to figure all of that out. And just figuring out how to get my private keys, I can't do that in Coinbase. So, at least I don't think I can. The research tells me that I don't have access to my private keys in Coinbase. And so I have to do what's been suggested to me is the easiest wallet, which is a paper wallet. And even a paper wallet is freaking crazy on how you think about these things and how you use them. And so there's a fear there. And this fear says, how do I know my money is safe? How do I know what's what? If I can't even figure out how much I'm paying for a couple of drinks, then how do I know that what to do? So you can see all this fear stuff here. And I think that really holds the market down. I think that it really makes it a huge learning curve to get into cryptocurrencies. So, I think about my mom and dad. Would they get into it at all? I don't think so. I don't think at all. Because if I'm struggling with how all this works, then why would my mom and dad do it? They would just listen to me and they would just trust me on whatever. But the problem is, you put some, wallet on your phone, and it's only on your phone, and you break your phone. Where does your money go? It's still on the phone. But if your phone's broken and you can't access it, how do you access your money? Paper wallet, you lose the piece of paper, or it gets wet, or whatever. What happens to your money? It's gone. You have your money out there on some exchange and they get hacked. What happens to it? It's gone. I mean, isn't that crazy? But that's kind of the reality of it. So there's so much risk in it. But maybe that explains the volatility of it. So when you look at this stuff here and how volatile it is, like in this 5-minute period, it went from 55.94 all the way down as low as 55.02. So it dropped by $90 in 5 minutes. Now, that volatility, there's a whole bunch of things that can go into play with that. But that's exactly where we're going to make the money too. That volatility equals dollar signs. It truly does. That is dollar signs. I've done a few transactions in Litecoin already this morning off of the volatility. And so I've got, and I sold another one. See, look at this volatility here. And here, let me move my camera here. And so what I did was let's see, what have I got here? I've got one buy and one sell left. And it looks like I sold for 66 and I sold for 65.99. And I had bought, so this 65, let's see, the 66, is based on this 65 that I purchased right here. So I went up $1 And then I put that back out there for 66. Now, doing 1/10 of a Litecoin means that I made like, 60 cents or something like that. It's not very much, but 10% of the amount. So, and I put it up for a full buck more. And then this was half a Litecoin. And I did all of these purchases here, at 64.50, 64.40, 64.30, 64.20, 64. And then I am like, okay, well, I don't have the time to micromanage this at the moment, so I just put all, the whole half a coin in at 65.99, just under 66. And so I just bought all of these at the 64 range, and I sold it just under 66. So I made another $3 there. I mean, come on, just while we're talking here, I made, 24 minutes ago, I made this. I wasn't even paying attention. And, off of an investment that was, $39, $36, something like that, and I just made $3. And so this volatility, though, is how I did it. So, I've got a couple that are still sitting out here, but I bought low, and then I just set it up higher. And look at this, it spiked way up, and this is where it sold. So I sold during that 5-minute spike up. And now I can place buy orders again, and I can place them down here. It may very well hit down here, and I can place it up here again. What if I could do that 3 or 4 times in a day? And I make $3 each time. Think about that. What if I had a lot more money in there? Let's times it by 10. And instead of, 30 some dollars, it was 300 and some dollars. And so I make $30 each time. Maybe, think about that. Then, $30 3 times, I've made $90 profit in a day. It gives me more power to do more stuff. So in the challenge here, where we are going to be, shooting for a goal of making 1% a day, on this stuff right here, I think I already made it. And just in one trade. Now, you'd say I'm a little bit lucky, sure, but I've been studying the market volatility and kind of gauging where I think that things were going to land, what kind of parameters. So how far can I push it up that it will hit it today in all likelihood? How far can I push it down that it'll hit it in all likelihood? And so, and I guessed right. So, that's what we're going to be doing. And so that is, I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait. I'm going to be building a spreadsheet. I'm going to build this spreadsheet so that everybody can put their cryptocurrencies in it. And each day you can do a tabulation, and it's going to show you how much you've earned or how much you've lost. Because some of you are going to lose money. You're going to do dumb things that none of us even ever imagined. But at the same time, those things that none of us even ever imagined, that's how you have breakthroughs. That's how you create something new that nobody ever thought of before. I'm not saying go out and be dumb with your money. I'm just saying that's how it happens. So anyway, now, what do I want to do with this money I've got? So I've got this money, and sure, I can just cash it out, and then I can use cash and go different places. But what drives the market? So if we look at Bitcoin again, and we look at it on this scale here of how it's been going up recently, and it's hit incredible highs in the last few days. It keeps breaking a record every day, and we're about to see we're going to see the $6,000 mark. Today, tomorrow, the next day. It's really going to happen that quick. And so this trend it's definitely going up, even though today it's down quite a bit, but the trend is definitely going up. So, what drives this? If you can figure out things in the economy or in just life in general that are influencing this, maybe you can make better decisions. Like, what if you could have, on this day where it started out at 48.25 and ended up at about 5,400, what if you could have predicted that and said, okay, I'm buying right now, even though it seems high, that was currently a high. And then I'm going to hold out for, let's say, 5,700, and it took you 3 days, but you went from 4,800 to 5,700. I mean, that's a $900 increase, and that is about a 20% range. If you can make 20% in 3 days, and our challenge here is to make 1% a day, holy cow, you are being successful. Now, we're only doing $100, so, you know, it's going to be hard to get a lot of trades in with Bitcoin. We're most likely going to be doing Ether, or we're going to be doing Litecoin. But even these have the volatility here, and you can do this stuff. So I'm really excited about this for us, and I also am excited that the more it's worth, the more pressure it puts on the market to accept Bitcoin. So we're going to be accepting it for our store. And so this is our store here, and this is what led me into this. I'm like, I finally got to do this because I need to accept the money in our store, the Bitcoin in our store. Our store basically is, we sell video games online. And so it's a good market fit because a lot of people who play video games are more likely to be using cryptocurrencies. It's not a guaranteed. I think it's actually a very low percentage of people that actually do. But we deal with a lot of fraud. So we deal with all the time payments coming in where we figure out that it's not owned by the person who's sending it. And so what do we have to do with that? We just have to send it back. You know, we cancel the transaction. We maybe mark them as fraud if we figure out for sure that it's fraudulent and everything. And hopefully that, locks the person's credit card or their PayPal account or whatever so that, they can take action and secure their stuff again. But that stuff happens all the time. And so, but what happens when we get a customer that comes in that looks like fraud but is legit? That happens too. We work really hard to figure those out. In fact, those ones, we call them anywhere in the world, and we get more information and we try and figure that out. And if we can prove that it's there, that they own the money, then we'll accept their transaction, even if on paper it looks really crazy. So, but some of those get turned down and they're legit. And that's horrible. We don't want to do that as a company. We want to accept everyone's money. That really limits us. We're telling an honest customer, go away. That's no good. That's horrible. So, what we've got here is that if we can accept Bitcoin, we have an alternative that some of these people that we can't figure out, which we think are legit, but we just can't accept their money because we haven't been able to figure it out. What if they can buy with Bitcoin? Well, if they are those percentage that actually has Bitcoin, then, we can do it. So we allow them to buy with that, and then we can instantly approve. It doesn't matter to us because Bitcoin can't be taken back. It can't be, there's no reversals. There's no chargebacks. There's no disputes. It just is what it is. Now that, in the same point, is something that if you send Bitcoin to somebody, like I met a guy the other day that purchased 3 mining machines from China using Litecoin. He sent them Litecoin. And I'm thinking that he spent $5,000 to $8,000 on these machines. I think it's kind of in that range. And so he spent that much in Litecoin, sending it to a foreign country. And what if they don't deliver? I mean, think about it. What if they don't deliver? So isn't that a scary thought? He must have a lot of faith in that company. That company must have a good history for him to have faith enough to send cryptocurrency to China, to this company that's going to ship him some machines. And what is his recourse if they don't deliver? None. He has zero recourse except to talk out in public and say, hey, these people never delivered. He doesn't have any more recourse other than that. And every couple of months, they can just pop up with a new site. You know, hey, we're selling the stuff here. I went to another site that I was looking at that was machines shipped from China, and my GPU was going crazy. What I figured out was they were mining on my machine while I was on the page. Yeah, isn't that scary? So anyway, getting back to the whole market stuff here, how do we know what we can trust and what influences the market? So what if Amazon said, hey, we're going to start accepting Bitcoin? That'd be pretty huge because you can buy so much stuff on Amazon. So, well, the rumor of that has been going around. And in fact, there's a bunch of stories out here in the last 3 weeks or so of Amazon going to accept Bitcoin. Now, so far, it hasn't really happened, and I haven't seen any of these that actually have official statements from Amazon, but it keeps being rumors. And so a lot of people are saying, okay, so if Amazon starts accepting Bitcoin, that's going to put Bitcoin's value up, up, up. And they might be right. I mean, you know, around the same time that it's around this time right here that these rumors started. And so could that really be what's fueling this? And then if Amazon does say they're accepting it, what if you can be the first to know? What if you hear it first? Like you hear the announcement 10 minutes after it happened. And then you make sure that you have Bitcoin, and if you have any funds that you're buying right then and there. Because then if it skyrockets and then you sell, you've made a ton of money. So knowing what's going on out there is a good thing. Now, I think that Amazon is going to have to get over this hurdle of how hard it is to figure out where your money is. So there's all this stuff about, you know, how do I use a paper wallet? How do I use a hardware wallet? How do I use a software wallet? My phone wallet, my cloud wallet, all of this stuff. I mean, it's actually really crazy. So, you know, it's just the way it is, though. Okay, so now if you can learn these things and start paying attention to these things, then maybe you can take advantage of it. And also, there's going to be a fork. There's 2 forks coming up. So I'm working right now to try and learn more about the forks, and I've got it like halfway figured out. So, but the forks, there's one coming October 25th, which is 10 days from now, from this recording. And then there's another one coming mid-November. And each one of these forks, in theory, doubles your money. Now, how does it double it? Well, you know, we're going to have to get into that more in another video, but basically, it makes a copy of itself, and then there's 2. And then they go off in their own direction. So Bitcoin will keep going, and then Bitcoin Gold is going to go down, or it's going to go up, or it's going to go wherever independent of Bitcoin. And if and you know, it could create some market volatility, and Bitcoin could actually drop because people are like, well, it's only worth half as much now because half the value went over to Bitcoin Gold or whatever. Or in the split, and this one is a friendly one, which we're going to talk more about this later. I'm trying to go through this stuff as fast as possible, you know, and we're going to miss some opportunities because I just can't get to it fast enough. It's life. So, but this other split that's happening in November is apparently hostile. So the Bitcoin Gold one in 10 days is done by Bitcoin. They're on board with it. The other one coming up is hostile. They're not on board with it, and which could create a really interesting dynamic in the marketplace. That if enough people go off and say this other one that split off in this hostile fashion is the one we want to support, we're going to call it official. What happens to Bitcoin? By the way, both of these are happening during our challenge. So we will be talking about them, and it may very well affect how much we make. So, and if we're really lucky and GDAX and Coinbase or wherever we have our currency that we're trading it say, okay, we're splitting this for you, which is, by the way, not what I'm seeing out there, then we may actually all go, way up in the value that we've done and just really knock it out of the park on how well we do on this challenge. But there's no guarantee of that. So, you know, you got to figure that out. We're going to try and figure that out. Oh my God. So, but there's so much opportunity here, we can't go wrong. Well, yeah, if you're dumb, we can. But we're going to try not to be dumb. Okay. So, okay, that's about it. That's about all about why people use cryptocurrencies. We will end up talking about this more. So this does actually impact our challenge, because if you can figure this stuff out and you can see the indicators in the market, then you can take advantage of them. Entrepreneurs call that luck, but luck doesn't just happen to you. Luck is realized and you take action. So, you know, I hope we're all very lucky and wise enough to see the luck. So, okay, that is it for this video today. Tomorrow, I am going to show you tactics that seem to be working for me and go over some of the buying, selling, and trading of this in depth in GDAX on going over transactions and showing, you know, what's working. So then also we are going to be, I do have a video scheduled for wallets to go over that. And then we're going to go over all the tools and everything. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel here. There will be, today or tomorrow, some live shows scheduled going up that I'll set to announce a day before they actually go live. We're going to do some live Q&As. I have 2 shows coming up this week. So I have, let's see here, Tuesday, October 17th and Thursday, October 19th are both days where we'll do live shows about the cryptocurrency challenge, and we're going to do live Q&As. It'll be on Twitch and it'll be on YouTube. And so I encourage you to join us and ask your questions, and we'll just go through as much stuff as we can. We'll do live trading at the same time so that you can see this. These shows will be at least an hour long, so that we're going to get some trades in and hopefully just hang out and have a good time. And who knows, maybe I'll make a ton of money on the show and everybody will go like, oh my God, I want to do that too. I don't know. We'll see. So, all right, get in on the challenge if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you. So thank you. And do leave your comments, because I am looking at them and I am responding to them. And questions that are really good, I'm putting them on my list, because we're going to cover those as well. Take care.